let's stop talking about all the teams that aren't Philadelphia and Kansas City, because those two won in very different ways on championship weekend. College athletes are making money. In some cases, a lot of it. Coach Brown spoke yesterday about a savings policy he's implemented for SU football. It's been 5 weeks since 14 people were murdered in New Orleans, and the wound is still fresh where it happened, right here on Bourbon Street. Needed a victory against Iran to advance to the round of 16. Thanks to a goal from Pennsylvania's own Christian Pulisic in the 38th minute, the United States did just that and cued a celebration that's been 8 years in the making. It was fair to assume the last time Graham would put on this uniform was late November when he got hurt against the Rams. Torn tricep, almost always a season ender. On the road, you got to remember a 4-star recruit who, has been criticized at points by some of her teammates and Felicia Leggett-Jack for failing to make an impact on the game outside of scoring. Well, tonight she scored. But then the Hokies found another gear, forced overtime, and beat the Orange 101-95. On the road, one thing's for certain. Closing out games, not as easy as riding a bike. No one needed that more than Orange head coach Fran Brown, who said after the Boston College loss that only winners get washed. Only winners get one of these, this being a bar of soap. Coach Brown is just happy he can get back in the shower.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Where else would you rather be on a Friday night in New Orleans than the NFL's fan experience? Welcome to Sports, I'm Ian Nicholas. So if you're not a fan of the Eagles or the Chiefs, I have good news for you if you were here, but you're not. Sorry, I'm rubbing it in. They're representing all 32 teams. You got Josh Allen, NFL's MVP, and Haley Steinfeld, his girlfriend. I mean, that guy is absolutely living life. And then you also see Drake May, could be a future NFL MVP. But you know what? Let's stop talking about all the teams that aren't Philadelphia and Kansas City, because those two won in very different ways on championship weekend. First, you start with the Commanders-Eagles game, where Philadelphia blew their division rival out of the water. And then in Kansas City, Buffalo, well, it went down to the wire. And Bills fans, I don't need to remind you about how that one went in the officiating at the end. As we shift gears to Super Bowl Sunday, I'll leave you with one note. You already know Kendrick is doing the halftime show, but do you know you got to tune into the game at 6:30, and that you got to tune into Fox to watch it, and that Tom Brady is doing the color analysis? That should be interesting. TB12 telling you what to watch out for in the Super Bowl. That's all I've got from down in New Orleans. Now let's send it back to Central New York, and specifically in the Dome with Matt Skifford.
My first assignment as a special agent was here in New Orleans. My career would take me all over the country and to different parts of the world. But this city, the city that I love, was always with me. And now I'm back. And the security for Super Bowl 59, well, it's personal.
I spoke to each one of the victims' families. A common theme continued to occur, and that was that they did not want the loss of those loved ones, or those that were injured on that street, to go in vain.
It's been 5 weeks since 14 people were murdered in New Orleans, and the wound is still fresh where it happened, right here on Bourbon Street. Obviously, a tragedy like this changes everything when it comes to security at the Super Bowl.
Naturally, there's a question of whether we have made adjustments in our security plan in light of the events of January 1. And the answer is an unequivocal yes.
We're going to have well over 2,000 law enforcement agents out there. I have a little saying, I want the community and our visitors who have come for this event to see a sea of blue.
The majority of our HSI New Orleans field office is comprised of native New Orleanians. This is the highest level of security on the federal side, and it's being done and led for New Orleans by New Orleans.
Dulon knows the city well, growing up just 85 miles from here in Louisiana. But what everybody involved knows is that in order to keep New Orleans safe this weekend, the hundreds of thousands visiting the Crescent City have to be involved.
I'd be remiss if I didn't prevail upon our most important partner, which is you. If you see or learn of something that may impact the safety and security of Super Bowl 59.
We want you to say something.
Say something.
And keep saying something until you are heard.
Ian Nicholas, Newhouse Sports.
For the live post-game coverage, watch Orange Press Pass at 9:30. From the men's side to the women's side, we go to South Beach, where the Hurricanes have the third best defense in the ACC, and they turn some defense into offense, and they keep it tight in the first quarter. But the Orange lead by double digits in the third, and Elena Rice has quadruple digits in her career as a scorer. 1,000 points for the Florida native. Did it in front of her parents. She also did that in front of her parents. Turned the ball over. Miami pulls within 5 late in the fourth quarter. But when you need 3, you turn to number 6 on the all-time scoring list in women's college basketball, De'Asia Fair with the dagger. SU wins by 11. Fair finishes with 14. Syracuse football announced an addition to Fran Brown's staff. Welcome into sports. I'm Ian Nicholas. The Orange officially hired Miles White as their new passing game coordinator and wide receivers coach. The newbie replaces Ross Douglas, who took the same role with Oregon earlier this offseason. White was an assistant for the Green Bay Packers last year and has coached at the collegiate level at Miami of Ohio and SMU. Before that, he had a 6-year professional career as a receiver in both the NFL and CFL. And that wasn't the only move Syracuse made today. CBS Sports reported that coach Josh Gaddis is expected to join the Orange next season. Gaddis was previously the offensive coordinator for Maryland, Miami, and Michigan, and also made stops at Alabama and Penn State. He figures to work alongside White and current SU play caller Jeff Nixon. In the NIL era, it's become no secret. College athletes are making money. In some cases, a lot of it. Coach Brown spoke yesterday about a savings policy he's implemented for SU football, financial planning that he says is important to him because of his upbringing in South Jersey. Take a listen.
I also have it set where our players, they have to save 40% of their checks. So they understand and know I have to put 40% of my check away. So then that way I can be better later because I'm your coach. There's no way I'm going to pay you a lot of money. You're a good player. And then you're going to walk away from here with no money.
Over to SU men's lacrosse, the Orange dominated Manhattan last night, 18-2. The SU defense held the Jaspers scoreless in the second half. It was a complete win, with the Orange winning all but 2 faceoffs. Up next, Syracuse hosts a Central New York showdown on Saturday afternoon against number 18 Colgate. And the SU women's team is in the midst of a ranked road matchup against a top 20 Loyola squad. The Orange are up by 4 at the half, and we'll have all the highlights later on tonight.